Facts. I mean, it's a learning moment, not just because something that we may know or not know, but it's because it's like helping us have a better understanding. You know, and I made this mention before. It's good to have these videos like this because so many different perspectives of information can be given. You know, and I love type of information like that. Let me see it from another angle. You know, 3 minus 1 is just 2.
There's other
4
ways
minus
to get
2
there.
is 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's other ways to get there.
Exactly. What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchet REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction.
Let's go.
Super excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
In a previous video of mine, I talked about America, which could refer to both a country or a continent. In English, it generally refers to the country, the United States of America, but in other languages, Spanish for example, it refers to the continent. However, in English these are 2 separate continents, part of the 7-continent model. North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Antarctica, and the topic of this video, Australia. So, is Australia a country or a continent? Well, Australia is one of the 193 members of the United Nations, although just because a country is a member of the UN doesn't necessarily mean that all other members agree that that country is a country. For example, North and South Korea don't recognise each other, both believing themselves to be the legitimate government of all of Korea. Turkey doesn't recognise Cyprus because of the situation with Northern Cyprus. Even the most populated country in the world, the People's Republic of China, isn't recognised by 22 UN members, who recognise the Republic of China as the legitimate government of China, confined to the island of Taiwan. And the least recognised UN member, with 32 fellow members not recognising them as a country, Israel, because of the minor issue of the Israel-Palestine conflict. But anyway, this is no such issue with Australia. Gaining independence from the British Empire in 1901 with a population of more than 23 million, everyone agrees Australia is a country. Of course, saying Australia is a country is kind of stating the obvious. This was never really in dispute. The real issue is when it comes to the Australian continent. Like I said, there are 7 continents in the English-speaking world, and while there's disagreement in the Western Hemisphere about whether it's America or North and South America, there's also disagreement down under as well. For example, the word Australia in the context of a continent has no official definition. The border between Australia and Asia is not clearly defined. East Timor is sometimes considered part of the Australian continent, although generally speaking it's usually considered part of Southeast Asia. The most common definition of the Australian continent is mainland Australia, Tasmania and the island of New Guinea, which is comprised of the independent country of Papua New Guinea as well as 2 Indonesian provinces. The reason for this is that all these islands lie on the same continental shelf. But this 7-continent model is flawed, because what continent is New Zealand part of? And what about the other 11 independent countries in the South Pacific? Well, technically they're
because
not.
every time they throw New Zealand in the picture, everybody start getting nickelized, and they be like, wait a minute, New Zealand is what? What part of New Zealand? Is it a part or is it not? You gotta be getting them confused, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, New Zealand always kind of make me laugh when I hear them, and, you know, in comparison with Australia.
Yeah, so, see, I always get confused when we start talking about, you know, that area, because there's the other islands like Samoa. Did I say it right? Samoa. Samoa. A-O? Samoa? Yeah. Well, the other, you know, the islands and the countries that's surrounding Australia, I be like, I don't know what to put them with, so I'm just going to put Australasia. I think that's what they call it.
Australasia.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I be confused, y'all. I don't be meaning to, you know, be disrespectful to anything.
Facts. I mean, it's a learning moment, not just because something that we may know or not know, but it's because it's like helping us have a better understanding. You know, and I made this mention before. It's good to have these videos like this because so many different perspectives of information can be given. You know, and I love type of information like that. Let me see it from another angle. You know, 3 minus 1 is just 2.
There's other
4
ways
minus
to get
2
there.
is 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's other ways to get there.
Exactly.
But I also like that, you know, we're able to hear it from the people who live there.
Nah, facts. Yeah.
You know, on what is correct. So,
yeah. Or is it even confusing for y'all? Like,
probably not. They know.
They
just like we know the countries that are in North America. And, you know, they know.
Okay.
Part of any continent. So one of two things tends to happen. Either they're incorrectly included as part of Australia, or there's countries that don't belong to any continent. The problem is, the word continent has no clear definition. The continents of the world are by convention and not by any strict criteria. In fact, if you look up the word continent in a dictionary, you'll usually just find some vague definition and a list of the 7 continents.
Oh Lord.
So with this 7-continent model, 12 countries are not counted as part of any continent.
Some more.
Now, you might think this sounds logical. I mean, if a country is in the middle of an ocean, it's really not part of any landmass, right? Well, this doesn't seem to be a problem for other continents. Iceland, for example, is considered part of Europe, despite being an island country hundreds of miles away from the rest of Europe. And what about Madagascar? It's considered part of Africa, despite being on a totally different continental shelf. And what about Seychelles, for that matter? Nowhere near any landmass, yet also considered part of Africa.
So that's another one, right?
So the definitions of the Australian continent are limited to the continental shelf, yet other continents are much less strict about what countries are part of that continent. For convenience, the term Oceania refers to all countries and islands in the general South Pacific region. Oceania is split into 4 different subregions: Australasia, Melanesia, Micronesia and Polynesia. The term Australasia, however, is a bit redundant. See, while the other 3 subregions are clearly defined, Australasia is not, and even with its most limited definition causes overlapping between the subregions. Australasia may simply refer to Australia and New Zealand. In fact, in the years 1908 and 1912, Australia and New Zealand teamed up and competed in the Olympics together as Australasia. Wider definitions may include the island of New Guinea and possibly even the whole of Melanesia. But even if we take Australasia to mean just Australia and New Zealand, this still puts New Zealand as part of 2 different subregions of Oceania. Oceania, though, is not a continent, it's instead classed as a geographic region.
Okay.
Well, in English that is. In other languages, Oceania is one of the continents of the world. Which makes sense, all countries are part of a continent and there's no name confusion between Australia the country and Australia the continent. But in English, Australia is both a country and a continent, although they mean different things. The United Nations Geoscheme, which divides the world into different regions, uses Oceania, and one of the sub-regions is simply called Australia and New Zealand. There are 7 continents of the world. This is Australia, the country, this is Australia, the continent, both of which are part of the wider geographic region known as Oceania, which is divided into 4 different sub-regions: Australasia, Melanesia, Micronesia and Polynesia. Thanks for watching.
All the sisters.
Got it.
Yeah, I think that just gives people a better insight of how to view Australia when they call it a continent compared to calling it a country. You know what I'm saying? It just brings a little more information on what other locations you need to throw in a bucket with. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. That's useful information.
Very much so. Yeah.
Alright, so we hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you like to support the channel that way, as well as our reaction request form is in our description box below. We'll see you soon.
Peace.